Have you ever heard someone say, maybe a little too loudly, how happy they are to be single? And you kind of thought to yourself, do they really mean that? Well, today we're diving right into that exact feeling, the whole paradox of celebrating being alone. And we're going to be using a really insightful analysis from the spiritual awareness guide Kato to unpack the powerful lessons that our solitude might be trying to teach us. So let's just get right to the heart of it. Can we genuinely, truly enjoy being alone? And if we can, what does that even look like? Is it this permanent state of bliss? Or, is there something a little more complicated going on just beneath the surface? I love this. This sarcastic post from the source material just perfectly captures that skepticism we all feel sometimes. You see it all the time, right? Especially around holidays, people declaring how much they love their solitude. But is that joy the whole story? Or is it maybe a shield for something else? Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, Cato's analysis doesn't just take these statements at face value. Nope. Instead, it goes deeper, offering what's basically a diagnosis, looking for the real root cause behind this declared joy of being all on your own. And the analysis points to two main drivers here. First, there's this really deep desire for personal freedom, which makes total sense. But second, it's often a defense mechanism, our reaction to past relationships where our needs for love, for validation, they just weren't met. It's almost a way of saying, you know what, I'm not going to get hurt like that ever again. Kato actually gives this a name, a relationship handicap. Now hold on, this isn't a judgment. It's more of a diagnosis. It points to an underdeveloped skill in what is arguably the most crucial relationship tool, the art of compromise. And so often, the roots of this can be traced all the way back to how we were raised. And wow, this slide just lays it out so clearly. If your childhood was super competitive, you were always pushed to be number one, you learned to see the world as a contest. And that mindset can sneak its way into your adult relationships, turning your partner into a rival instead of a teammate. When that happens, compromise feels a lot like losing. So the most important point here isn't about blaming our past or anything like that. It is all about developing awareness right here, in the present. Because according to Cato's work, that awareness is the only real path toward healing and genuine change. It's such a timeless piece of wisdom, isn't it? The Buddha taught that our suffering so often comes not from our external situations, like being alone, but from our own ignorance of what's happening inside of us, our own internal patterns. And then you have the psychologist Carl Jung, who basically echoed the same idea. He explained that whatever we don't bring into our conscious awareness, well, it doesn't just vanish. It just keeps repeating over and over again in our lives until it starts to feel like some kind of inescapable destiny. That is, until we finally turn around and face it. And this brings us to the treatment, if you will, awareness. It is the key that unlocks the door and lets us break free from these repetitive cycles. The moment we understand why we keep running into the same pain in our relationships, we finally get the power to change our patterns, our fate, or what some might even call our karma. All right, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually move from theory to practice? Let's look at how we can turn this powerful idea of awareness into something we can actually use in our day-to-day lives. Kato uses this incredibly powerful metaphor. The joy of being alone is so often tied to this feeling of freedom. But what is freedom really worth if you have no one to share your life with? It can very quickly start to feel like being completely free, but stranded in the middle of a vast, empty desert. So to help you explore this for yourself, here are some really profound questions to ask. And I mean really sit with them. They're designed to help you gently peel back the layers on your own feelings about solitude and see what's really there. And here we've got a super concrete exercise you can try. The very next time you catch yourself thinking, I just love being alone, press pause for a second. Try to break that feeling down. What's the genuine joy in it? And then ask, what void might this joy be covering up? This is how you start to tell the difference between real contentment and just a defense mechanism. So really, the key takeaway here is this. Loneliness itself isn't good or bad. It's neutral. It can either be a prison that keeps you stuck in your old patterns, or it can be a powerful teacher that gives you the space you need to grow. And as this slide says, that choice is entirely up to you. Because if you do choose to learn the lessons that your solitude is offering, it stops being that empty desert. Instead, it becomes this rich, fertile ground where you can prepare yourself for healthier, more conscious, and way more fulfilling relationships in the future. And this brings us to the final, and I think most provocative question of all. We know healthy relationships absolutely need compromise, but where is that line between making a healthy compromise and compromising your very self? Thinking about that question is some of the most important inner work any of us can do. Now, if this whole exploration resonated with you, your journey of awareness doesn't have to stop here. For anyone who wants to go deeper and actively work on this skill, Kato actually provides a clear path forward. He offers a Level 2 membership program on Patreon, which is designed specifically for people who are serious about their personal spiritual development. It's a space where you can deepen this practice of awareness with real guidance and support. Thank you so much for exploring all of this with me today.